Hi, my name is Natalie, and as part of WeBA ToastMasters Team Germany, I'm going to talk about Germany's rich history and folklore. Germanic people have lived in and around the area we now call the country of Germany for centuries. There are a multitude of mythic figures, legendary places, and unbelievable events associated with Germany and Germanic people. But this 5-minute speech can barely scratch the surface. Instead of rushing through thousands of years of material, I'm going to focus on 3 stories. The first is about one of the most decisive military battles in history. The second is about the true identity of a notorious pagan god. And the third tells a tale of 2 feisty brothers that changed the landscape of European storytelling. The first story takes place in the year 9 CE, among the tall, dark trees of the Teutoburg forest, where brave allied Germanic peoples faced extreme odds to defeat 3 invading Roman legions. That's about 20,000 soldiers. The Romans had long had their sights on conquering the Germanic groups, yet the Germanic people did not want to be ruled by the Romans. The extreme taxation rate, the mandatory military service, and conflicting values of the empire made the Germanic tribes attempt the impossible, rather than submit to Roman rule. With the help of an insider named Arminius, a Germanic-born but Roman-raised and trained soldier, the Germanic forces were able to defeat the Roman soldiers by attacking their weak points and anticipating their moves. The battle in the Teutoburg forest was one of Rome's worst defeats. The next story is about a mysterious, hooded figure said to wander through Germanic woods, such as the Teutoburg forest. You've probably heard the name Odin, either from reading Norse mythology or from the Marvel universe of superhero characters. This god has his place in Scandinavian stories as the All-Father, the ruler of Asgard, leader of the dead armies of Valhalla, and the god of poetry and wisdom. However, Odin's roots are even older than Norse stories. Ancient Germanic tribes worshipped the god Wotan, or Wotan, including the tribes that defeated those Romans. Wotan was not a ruler of a pantheon of gods, but instead was the patron god of wisdom, poetry, fertility, and weather. Over time, though, as populations migrated and trade expanded and kingdoms invaded others, Wotan, like many other gods, evolved to take on new roles and names. The stories we tell through time reflect our thoughts, our fears, and our hopes as a collective. I want you now to take a moment and think about a favorite story you heard in your childhood. Share it in the comments below. Personally, I was obsessed with Beauty and the Beast as a child because the soundtrack was amazing, books were featured heavily in the movie, and the central theme was that people can change for the better when they want to. So what was yours? Did yours feature an impenetrable stone castle, a deep dark forest, void of sunlight and filled with ominous howls? Or does it feature a wicked stepmother? If it does, chances are you're thinking of a folktale that was recorded and collected by the infamous brothers Jakob Ludwig Karl Grimm and Wilhelm Karl Grimm, better known as the Brothers Grimm. Long after the fall of the Roman Empire and the conquering of pagan gods by Christianity, the 2 Grimm brothers collected and preserved a wealth of folktales that we still know and enjoy today. Just as the Icelanders get credit for the sagas, the Grimm brothers are associated with dozens of folktales because they dedicated the time to collect them, record them, not necessarily because they made them up themselves. But thanks to Jakob and Wilhelm and their 1812 collection of tales, we have stories like Little Red Riding Hood, Hansel and Gretel, Cinderella, Rapunzel, Rumpelstiltskin, Snow White, Sleeping Beauty, The Frog King, and many more. The stories of the past, they filter into our world lens today. Just turn on your favorite streaming service and you'll be flooded with modern interpretations of these three stories. The show Barbarians on Netflix is a visually stunning dramatization of the battle in the Teutoburg forest. Wotan, is a star in the Thor and Avenger movies. He's also a central character in Neil Gaiman's book and TV show, American Gods. And grim folktales are constantly being retold, from child-friendly versions on Disney to darker and creepier adult horror films to uber-modern interpretations. The grim stories continue to live on. Now, I hope these three stories have inspired you to learn more about Germany's rich lore. And now that you know about these Germanic folk influences, you're going to start to see them everywhere you look. Thank you for listening. Enjoy the rest of the presentations from WeBA ToastMasters.